Hi, I'm JT, and this is Component.Studio. Component.Studio is an app where you can combine Photoshop plus Excel, bring them together, and create your own designs in an automated fashion. So if you design one card, for example, or one tile or one chit, you can hook up a spreadsheet and basically have the system automatically design the rest of them. And it doesn't have to be Excel and Photoshop. It's none of those programs at all. This is Component.Studio, a completely separate program that will basically combine those two apps into one for you. This video, though, is about Component.Studio 2, the next generation of Component.Studio, and basically I'm looking for feedback on the app as I'm designing it here. I've built a whole bunch of new features into the app, and they're just a random smattering of quality of life improvements, and I want to show them to you and get your feedback. So if you have any thoughts about any of the things I'm about to show you, please leave those as comments down below. Appreciate that. So without further ado, first I've built in a little loader messaging. It's going to be here at the bottom of the screen. I'm going to refresh, and you can see it as it's building in here. It'll tell you what it's doing, and that way if something's taking a long time, you know what's taking forever to load. Shouldn't take forever, but in any given situation, you know, it could be network lag or a slow computer, or maybe you just have a lot of something that you're loading. So that'll give you a little indication of what is taking so long. I've also added design variables. I thought it would be nice to basically be able to identify this red trim line and the safe zone. So if we come into here, we can see, the group position, we can see I have design safe left. And if we go into design here, you can see these new variables. I've got the all four sides of the safe zone. Again, that's the dashed blue line, as well as the width and height, the width and height of it. In addition, the red line is the trim line. So this is where your card will get cut off. You know, when it's when we're trimming the card, it will get cut there. And so there's that line. And so that's what this trim is here, these 6 variables. And so that way you can design your components to fit at a specific space, and you don't have to know that this line is 75 pixels from the left-hand side here, for example. The system will just tell that to you right there, or you can use that variable to do it. So that is the design variables, and that, again, it's just quality of life stuff, pretty simple. And to go along with that, I showed you here that there were 6 variables. Design. There are 6 variables for each of these. So I have actually changed the functions now to have, there were the get, bottom, layer, you know, all this kind of stuff. So I've changed them to be layer, so it's more specific rather than get. But I also added in height and width on those. And again, those, you can grab those without even using the function by using these buttons right here. So now, in addition to the 4 boundary left, right, top, and bottom, you also have the width and the height that you can get right there. So if I click on that, you can see it's going to grab layer width from the title layer group there. Okay, so that is that. Next thing in the list, somebody suggested that we should have you should be able to get the width and height of an image. And so I've changed the variables for images a little bit. It was, if we go here, oh, actually, you know what? I have to go in here. So it was like this. It was images.valentine's day is what it used to be, these variables. But now it's images. You know, the variable name again here, .url to get that. And I can grab that and change it to be something else. So for example, I could use that variable here and put in I could put in the width there. It's a rarely used function. So, or I mean, it's a rarely used variable probably, where you will need the width or the height of the original image, but it is a way for you to now have the width or height of the image should you need it. I'm going kind of fast here because there's not a lot to any of these. There are a bunch of small changes, but if you want me to cover any of them in more detail, please let me know. Okay, so let's get on to some fancier things. One of the fancier things that people have requested in the past is the ability to outline an image. And this is kind of tricky. So they don't want to outline the square proportion, the actual border of the image. They wanted to outline, trace the transparency essentially. So I have added that. And so now, let me minimize that, and we can minimize this as well. We've got this new outline section here in images. And so if I type in something like, let's say 10, it will put a 10 pixel outline around that image. And of course you can do 1 or whatever. You can have any amount of outline that you want. And you can also set the color of that outline. So if I wanted to make that a red outline, or maybe I wanted to make it a green outline, you can do that. And so that's a pretty sweet little feature. And very similar to that is somebody was asking for drop shadow. So you can do the same kind of thing here. So I'll add a 6 pixel drop shadow, and now it's drop shadowing there. In fact, it's adding a drop shadow to the border, the outline that we just added. So if I set this back to 0, now the drop shadow moves in toward the image. So again, that's pretty fancy. And again, here you can change the color value of the drop shadow, or you get all your drop shadow settings here. So I thought that was pretty cool. So we are able to check off another idea from the ideas list. Another idea that people have been asking for is blur. They want to be able to, for an image, especially if they're going to use an image as a background, for example, you don't want the image to distract from the text. So they were asking if we could add in a little bit of blur. And so you can set this, it's a percentage scale, so you can make it as blurry as you want. And now it's super blurry, right? But you can make it just a little bit blurry also. And so there you go. It's a pretty simple little feature, and it should be useful again as something where you want to take an image and put that, make that a little bit blurry so that it's not distracting against the text that you're putting over it. Okay, so we've got that. Then the next thing are image adjustments. And here, this is just a, turn this on, and now you've got basically Photoshop style image adjustments. Actually, you know what? I should turn off that blurriness. We don't want that for this little thing. You can adjust the contrast, for example. So I might, go a little bit dimmer. This will be a little bit more contrasty if I keep going up here, like so. You can adjust the brightness as well. So again, same kind of thing, right? Just making it brighter and brighter, and all these other settings. So if I wanted to make it to really bring out the green in here, I can do that. If I want to turn down the red because that's just way too bright, I can do that. So you have all these kinds of little micro adjustments that you can make to your images to get the color that you're looking for. So hopefully that, no one specifically asked for that one, but a lot of people are using this as a Photoshop replacement or a GIMP replacement, even though I think that both tools should be in your tool belt. But if you just happen to need a quick little adjustment to the color of an image, it's probably easier to do it right here than it is to go back to Photoshop or GIMP and make that adjustment, re-export, re-upload, all that kind of stuff. So this is just, quality of life stuff. And then finally, there's one last thing that I did, and this was a feature request made recently, which, I can just click on any of these to get in here. When you're looking at row variables, you now have an enumeration, and this is This variable is here. I'm going to actually put this into the text. So let's replace the description with this so you can see it. It's just going to output a number. And that number is the number of enumerations in this class. So if we go up here, you may or may not have seen my enumerations video a while back, but you can create a column to a text-based column to do enumerations. So maybe for the love card, I have multiple colors or whatever. So I'm going to just do I have a way to delineate multiple copies of the same thing. So maybe there's a pink and a red version of that one, and luck maybe is green and gold. So each of these, and maybe black. Let's do 3 on that one. Okay, and so now I can set enumeration to color, and then, oh right, I have to fix that bug. It doesn't know what to do there because it doesn't have an enumeration right away. So let me change it so that it does. And so now you can see there are 2 of the love enumerations because there's red and pink. And then if I go up to luck, this changes to 3 because there are 3 luck enumerations. And so this was just a way that I forget what they were trying to do, but they needed something to tell them how many enumerations there were in order to do whatever it was they were trying to do. So that is built in now as well. So some of these are more programmery type features with variables and functions, that sort of thing. And some of them are more visual type features like the blur and drawing outlines and adding drop shadows. I should have pointed out also that the drop shadow thing actually works on more than just images. So for example, I can come up here and then I've got this nameplate here, which is actually a box. So it's just a square. It doesn't look square because I have these corners on here, but if I take the corner and make it back to square, you can see that it's actually just a box. And if I come down here to drop shadow, I can say, give me a drop shadow of 5 pixels, and there it is. And if I go back up here and change my corners to chamfer, and now it's still following, the different kind of corners that you can put in there. So the drop shadow works on more than just images. It also works on all of the different shapes that you can make in Component.Studio 2. So anyway, again, fairly short here. There's just a bunch of quality of life improvements. But if you see anything you didn't like, want to make comments on, please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. It would be much appreciated. Have a good night.